So what if you're a happy worker who has plans to go out later with your girlfriend to celebrate her birthday, but last minute, like literally as you finish up work, she calls you and breaks up, and so your junior at work takes you out drinking instead? Then the rest is history. Not really, but there's a funny story behind why I'm reviewing the Saw series. I was vibing a few hours before writing this script and got messaged about an animated version of a Danimaru sauce. So I checked it out and thought, this seemed very familiar. But at the time I didn't pay too much attention to it. Cut to a few hours later when I'm looking for a sauce to make a video on, and I see something in my folder for a sauce series. And sure enough, when I looked at the first sauce, I recognized it immediately. But anyway, that's enough about that. Like I said earlier, it's a sauce series and it's from the absolute GOAT Danimaru. And don't worry about the numbers, I'll get to them when I get to the next part you'll see. And like Danimaru's other works, they're all bangers. So let's get right into it. It starts with some guy typing away and aggressively hitting the enter key to finish up his work on time like he planned. A girl walks up behind him to say good work and also leans over to tell him that he'll be able to make it to his girlfriend's birthday date. He says it's all thanks to her and then packs up his stuff while thinking to himself about how it's his girlfriend's birthday and he got a present and dinner reservation before she calls him. He tells her that he just finished up work and will be over there, but his girlfriend tells him that they should break up and also tells him that she was cheating on him and can't see him anymore. His junior is there asking what's wrong, and he's in tears saying he got dumped. She's a bit stunned, but gets an idea. That being, they should go out drinking and she'll hear him out. So they head out, going to this bar where he's still crying, but not drinking, and he's been talking about her and drinking for 4 hours according to this junior. He even had a present for her that Tsushinaka, the junior, helped him pick out. She pats his head, and he flips out, which she just says that she couldn't help it since he was cute while pouting. He thinks she's making fun of him, which she says not at all, and thinks it's cool that he always takes his girlfriend seriously. He's just ignoring signs and thinks she's a nice person. And she goes on talking about how she's always watching him from the side and how he always puts in a lot of work and effort into relationships, and it's admirable. Even if he thought it was serious and found out that he was cheated on and even got dumped. He's unsure if he's ever gonna date again, and she proposes something, if she would become his girlfriend. He thinks she must be joking, but is dead serious. So he thinks she must be drunk and offers to walk her home since it's dark out. She says okay, and there's a bunch of hotels around. They're almost at her place, and he wonders if she really lives around there, since the area is full of a lot of love hotels. But they arrive at her place, and it's a hotel. He thinks she must be confused from drunkenness, but she says she's neither confused nor drunk, and they go inside. The room's pretty big, and he asks what's the meaning of this, but she invites him over on the bed. He tries to play the I have a girlfriend card, but that girlfriend dumped him earlier, and she pulls his arm and gives him a lap pillow. She goes on saying that she's always been watching him the entire time, and for the sake of his girlfriend, he always did his best with work and love, but now that he's single, that means she's allowed to be madly in love with him. He's confused, and she says that the truth is she's been head over heels for him, but restrained her feelings because he had a girlfriend, and they do it. He wakes up with a hurting head, wondering why he's in a love hotel, then remembers and starts freaking out, but she takes this opportunity to correct him on her name, Miho, and hugs him, saying that he shouldn't run, and they continue again. It cuts again to her finishing up her work, and wonders if she should go home with the guy, who, for the sake of this video, I'll just call him Senpai for the rest of it. So she walks up to Senpai asking if he wants to go home together. He's got to work overtime, and she offers some help, which he declines. So she asks if it's okay for her to wait in his house. He says he might be late, and she says it's fine, and he hands her his keys. She says thanks and takes the elevator, talking to herself about how it's been a while since they started dating, and he lets her stop by any time, and thinks he'll be tired when he comes home, and she'll prepare his favorite dish while waiting. It cuts to him finishing up work and heading home, but sees someone. He sees this girl who recognizes him. She introduces herself as Shiori, and they were in the same friend group in university. They rang the bell, and she proposes they go out drinking, and so they do. She's drinking a bunch, and he was forced to go, but decides to contact Miho, and gets made fun of by this friend, asking if it's his girlfriend, which he says yeah. So she starts freaking out, asking who it is, and so he tells her that it's his junior, whose cuteness is wasted on him, and how she's better at her job and always does her best and always helps him. She gets his face and congratulates him, and buys him a drink. It cuts to Miho's point of view in his apartment, and she's realizing he's late. The doorbell rings, and she opens the door to greet Senpai, but sees Shiori carrying him, saying she forgot he's bad with alcohol. She grabs Senpai, then asks who this random girl is, and Shiori introduces herself. Miho asks if she did anything, and then shuts the door on her. It cuts to inside, and Miho's taking care of Senpai, asking if he's calmed down, but also brings up how it wasn't very nice that he went and got drunk while leaving her at home. She says she was worried, and he says there's no option, and she starts getting undressed to do it. They finish up and they're eating now, and he compliments her cooking and such, but also apologizes for yesterday. She says she'll forgive him, but to also not feel so uneasy. But he's been thinking about something for a bit and asks if she wants to live there together, since she's always going there every day, and he thought it'd be better if they just lived together. She says of course she wants to live there together. He's glad, and she says that she'll move in tomorrow, since she wants to live together and wants to go shopping right that instant, and then asks him to take care of her. It cuts to a few months after she moved in, and they spend every day together as a couple. Miho's going home and enters, saying she's home, but also sees that it's empty and starts crying and running to the bed. She's crying because it's lonely without him around, since he's on a week-long business trip. She's gotten used to living with Senpai, and it's hard for her when he's not around. She's flooded by thoughts like wanting to hear his voice, calling him, but he might be working, and he'll be home tomorrow, so she just has to hold out a bit more. But she puts her head on his pillow and smells something. It is scent from the pillow, and starts smelling it and kicking her feet, thinking it's calming. She pauses and decides to take that time to pleasure herself, but in the middle of her doing that, he walks in on her. They both flip, and she asks why he's there, since he said he'd be coming home tomorrow. But he rushed home after seeing her text saying that she's lonely. She asks him to at least notify her if he's gonna be home early, since that was embarrassing, but he wanted it to be a surprise, and he also got a bit of excitement after seeing that, and then they take care of said excitement. They finish up and sit on the couch, and he asks if she's satisfied yet, which she isn't. So she says that from tomorrow on they'll enjoy themselves to the fullest, and that's the end of the series. This was such a banger series, similar to the other wholesome series I reviewed from Hero. This as well was just incredibly wholesome and straight up fantastic. Every single part was amazing, even if the third one was sort of an epilogue to end it, but it was still really good. And don't even get me started on the artwork. Oh my god, just chef's kiss. Like, way too good to be a sauce artist. Almost on par with that other artist I reviewed a bit back. But anyway, I highly recommend you check it out for yourselves as always. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next one.
Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul. These hentai babes make me drool. Hasune Miku is great. She makes me masturbate. Fairy tale.